Hi.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tips from Your Boyfriend, episode 12.
Yeah.
I'm Chingis,
I'm Bethany.
if you didn't know, to our viewers out there,
All one of them?
all however many of them, yeah. But, yep, welcome back. Today is Sunday, the 17th, and what do we want to talk about today?
Happy St. Patty's Day
That's
for
right.
those who celebrate.
Exactly.
I am actually wearing green. I didn't do that intentionally, so
Oh.
hey.
I am not
You
wearing
get a
green.
pinch.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I've never been really pinched before when I'm not wearing green.
Really?
I feel like, yeah, it's not really a thing out here.
Oh, interesting. I'm surprised it's not, especially with how hard Boston goes in the St. Patty's parade and everything.
I don't know.
I remember, especially during middle school, elementary school, if you're not wearing green, people will come at you real hard.
With all the pinching?
Yep.
Okay. All I know about St. Patty's Day around here is that everybody gets really drunk by midday. And then you get all the drunk drivers on the road, and you get all the drunks in places.
That's funny.
It's where you start your day eating, I don't know, some weird St. Patty's Day traditional meal at lunch if you go out, and then you just get drunk, wasted, you get a bunch of beers.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, my mom had a tradition where she would make a pot roast, because I think that's more of an Irish, maybe not a pot roast, it's a, roast beef? Roast beef? No, that's one of those. There's a dish that she makes every year that's an Irish, corned beef.
Corned beef.
Yeah, corned beef and potatoes. She always makes that, so I'm sure she's probably making that today.
I don't even know what corned beef is. So you just take ground beef or something, or you do something?
No, I think it's more it's similar to, sorry, I shouldn't
No,
stick
go
my
ahead.
spoon
Yeah,
at you.
you're good.
Remember the beef that you used to make for me for Valentine's Day? The one that you worked really hard with, the wine and all that stuff, the braised.
Yeah, short rib.
It's similar to that in texture. It's just
Yeah.
a different flavor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should make braised short rib again. It was so freaking intensive though.
It was. He worked really hard at getting it just right, and he would do that for special occasions or dates or Valentine's Day, and it was really yummy. But
For all of a couple months, and then I'm just nah, not anymore.
burnt out.
Burnt out.
Should we talk about eras first then, since that was kind of an era?
Yeah. So let's do eras first. But today we wanted to talk about relationship eras. We'll explain exactly what that is. We also wanted to talk about kombucha and just fermented things in general, such as this yogurt that she's eating, which is a fancy type. But let's talk about eras first.
Yeah.
The short rib era, is that what you want to call it?
Yeah.
So what is a relationship era? How would you define it?
I would say a period of time where something kind of defines your relationship at that time, or something that you both do together, or that when you think back in time, you're like, oh yeah, you can kind of point to a point in time.
Yeah, it's a start and an end.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Where it's there was the first time I made braised short rib, and then there was the last time I made braised short rib, and then I really haven't made braised short rib since then. But then in that time in between, I would be making it regularly.
Right.
For occasions, for whatever reason, we buy the thick pieces, cuts of meat from the store, and then I'd make it, and then we'd eat it. Duh. And then it would be it would end after a while. I don't know how many months.
Yep.
And some eras last longer, some eras are shorter. I feel like the braised short rib era was a shorter one.
It was an intense era where it was a lot at once,
Yeah.
but it didn't last very long.
Yeah. And then that's it. It's an era, the end of an era.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can have a second braised short rib era.
I think so. We can circle back.
Braised meats.
Yeah.
You can try it again. That was also my the braised short rib era. I don't know how else to describe it. It's annoying to say. Coincided with my cast iron skillets era.
Yeah, he was obsessed with cast iron skillets for the longest, and he would do the salting to clean them and seasoning them and everything he cooked in a cast iron skillet until he discovered nonstick. And then after that, he kicked it to the curb.
No. I discovered good nonstick.
Okay.
I feel like I had good nonstick beforehand, but I never really understood how it was supposed to be used and all that. I never understood best practices of cooking. And then I got some good nonstick pans, and I've just been using them since then.
Yeah.
And then they're just so much easier. Although cast irons are great. I love the flavor that you get from cast iron specifically, and they're really hot to the touch. So like you can get nice searing on them, because they like what do you call it? They contain a lot of heat themselves. They don't just transfer heat from the fire or from the stovetop to the meal or to the food. They hold the heat themselves a lot, and then they transfer it. And so like it's really nice in order to like sear things if you want to do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, there was a start to the cast iron era, and then there's an end to the cast iron era. And inside the cast iron era was the braised meat era.
Yep.
And so it's like you can have like these eras of like, I don't know, like month 4 of our relationship to month 11 of our relationship. I'm making things up, but it's kind of funny.
I think our first era actually was watching Friends together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because we just started dating. It was in the middle of lockdowns during COVID. There wasn't much that we could do outside because everything was shut down. And so you had never seen Friends before, and I'm obsessed with Friends. And so we started going through the entire series of Friends.
Yep.
And so I would say that was probably our first era.
Friends?
Yeah.
I think so. But like, I feel like it's so long. I feel like eras have to be. No, they don't have to be that short.
They don't have to be shorter.
It's
No.
true.
Because there was a start and then there was an end to it.
Yeah, but then the Friends era spanned for like a long time because there's so many like seasons we had to go through, and I don't think we would watch them that fast.
We probably started because we started dating in September, so we started watching it in September, like very end of September, and then we probably finished around maybe March, April, because we went to New York City and did that Friends thing. So they had a Friends pop-up in New York City where they like recreate the set and all that. And so we actually went to that. And I know that we had finished the series before that had happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the Friends era. So already we had the Friends era. We have the cast iron era. We have the braised meat era, which is a subset of the cast iron era, I would say. What else did we talk about? We talked about a few other eras after that.
So the first summer that we were together, we would sit out your parents where you were house sitting for at the
Back
time.
porch
They had
era.
a back porch where there was a green couch that we would sit on. And we would lay just so, where I would be laying down, he'd be sitting up, and we would just talk. And we'd connect about life and talk about anything and everything in between. Sorry, I'm baking bread.
Yeah, we like.
Hey, Google. Stop timer.
We would talk, but we also read a lot of books back there. So I feel like that was kind of when we started The Witcher also, right?
Yes.
We read the Witcher books, and then what was the other series of books? We read the Dune books.
Yes, which
And
are
then-
super weird.
Super weird. Well, the first 3 books weren't too bad. I feel like the end of the 3rd book is when it got super weird. Because like, once you get to the end of the 3rd book, you realize that the rest of the books aren't that weird anymore. What was the other one? I feel like we read another like teenage boy book. The
We
Witcher,
watched The Witcher, Dune.
Dune.
I can't remember actually.
I think that was it maybe.
Yeah, because I burn out on I called it teenage boy porn, because it's a lot of like all the things that like teenage boys get like hyped up about, and I capped out on it.
Yeah, okay. But then there's like the teenage boy books, and then there's the teenage girl books, which you read also, right?
Yeah, but you didn't go into that, so that wasn't an era for us.
I did not go into it, no. But we watched a lot of the teenage girl movies, I guess. We watched, oh my God, Katniss Everdeen. What was she in?
Oh, that's right. We went through all the young adult films. So we watched the whole Twilight series. We watched all of Hunger Games.
We watched Hunger Games.
We watched
Maze Runner.
And then Divergent.
Divergent series, yeah.
Yep. So we went through our teenage era.
Teenage movies era.
Yep.
And that followed all the teenage boy books. And you started reading the teenage girl books on your own. I didn't want to read those.
Yeah.
And then I think we're embarking on the Harry Potter reread era.
Yes. We're on book 1.
We just bought like a Harry Potter set for 2 of them, so we could each have a book to read together. And we're just gonna read the entire like series of Harry Potter from start to finish again.
Yeah.
And we're book 1, chapter like 7 or no.
We're
Chapter
on
like
4.
Yeah, 4.
We're on 4.
And we just started.
Yeah.
And this is where Harry Potter goes to Diagon Alley to get all of his like gear.
Yeah.
To get his wand, to get his like books, to get his robes and stuff like that. where he realizes that he's rich and all that. And
Yeah.
so
I
that'll be
mean,
good.
I haven't read these books since the first time I read them when I was in high school, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even. I think it was middle school. So it's cool to go back and actually see things that are weaved in there that you don't learn until later. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that that was there. So that's been cool. And also just reading
Yeah.
together for me, I really enjoy it because it gives us something to talk about. And also, too, just to wind down at night by reading together is just so pleasant.
Yeah, and then like what we do is we read a chapter and then we like reconnect after that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
We do that for two reasons. Number one, she's a much faster reader than I am. So it's like she'll get through 10 pages and I'll get through 5. So we need to get pauses at the end of every chapter. Otherwise, she's going to get way ahead of me and I'm never going to be able to catch up.
It keeps us in check.
Yeah, and then number two, it's kind of nice to like reconnect after every chapter, or discuss the chapter that we read and be like, oh, I noticed this detail, or I noticed this detail about something.
Yeah.
And like we have the gift of hindsight because we've read the books before and we've seen all the movies before. And so we can catch all the details and kind of discuss the details and see how it all makes sense.
Yeah.
We could also talk about how much we like J.K. Rowling's writing style too.
She's so great.
Yeah, because we tried to read another fantasy book we started, and I don't think we can go into it. We were like 2 chapters into it, and it was just a little bit too
Both
difficult.
he and I were just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It was a little too pretentious, I think, for both of us. It was slow.
It was slow, and I don't know about pretentious. There were a lot of very descriptive words where like the author would come in and use a very much like very specific word in order to describe something, which is appropriate, which I don't mind, which I appreciate typically. I need to kind of like mentally get used to that style of writing. But I personally could not connect with and absolutely disliked the protagonist like entirely. And so I'm just like, I don't want to read about this guy, what he's going through. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah. So we returned those books.
Yeah, we stopped after 2 chapters, put them away, returned them.
What other eras?
What did we talk about at the coffee shop today? We talked about something. Now I just can't, like, when I'm put on the spot, I can't like remember it anymore.
Okay, so we had the couch era. We did puzzles for a while. We had the puzzle era last winter, not this past winter, winter before,
Yeah.
where we bought all these like 500,000 piece puzzles and would go through those together. So we put on music in the background and grab some kombucha and just work away at a puzzle. And it was a great indoor activity, honestly. It was fun. And so we had like we got into a rhythm of how we would divide up the puzzles. And when we got stuck, he and I would switch which side we sat on. And I enjoyed that. That was great.
I liked it too, but I got burnt out.
Yeah.
So it's like puzzles are good and fun and nice occasionally. Don't do a puzzle, finish it, and then immediately buy another puzzle and do the next one. Because it's like, some puzzles are very frustrating. And so they kind of ruin it for you. And other puzzles are fun, and you have like steady progress. And those are nice. I like those.
Yeah.
I don't like the puzzles where it's just like every single piece looks almost exactly the same and you just can't put it in there.
Yeah.
Like puzzles that have very gradual color changes where it's like, oh, this is a blue piece and this is a blue piece and I have freaking no idea where they go because they're all the same color. Those are tough.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how many puzzles we did. We must have done like...
We did the Friends puzzle. We did the Massachusetts puzzle.
Yep.
We did the Harry Potter. We did the books covers.
Book covers. We did the Sherlock Holmes puzzle.
That's right. So probably those 5, maybe 6.
I think there was one more.
Yeah, it might have been a second Harry Potter one. But yeah, I think we did 5 or 6, and they were like 500 to 1,000 piece range generally.
I liked the Massachusetts puzzle. I liked the Harry Potter puzzle. I liked the book covers puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the Sherlock Holmes one. That one was annoying. And what was the other one?
The Friends one.
The Friends one? I did not like the Friends one either.
Yeah. See, that one was easy for me because I knew the episode so well that the tiniest detail, I'm like, oh, that's from that episode. And so I'd be able to figure that out. Whereas for you, you're not obsessed with the show like I am. And so I think for you were actually like doing the puzzle as a puzzle instead of me being able to rely on my memory for it.
Well, one of the reasons why I didn't like that one is because it's all faces. And I just like... I get a piece of puzzle where it like has a half of a face on it, and I'm just like, I have no idea where this goes. Do I really have to search through all the puzzles for the other half of this face? It's ridiculous. And like I look at the guide, which is like the front cover of the box or whatever, and I'm just like, I can't place this anywhere.
Yeah.
I give up. Like that was the most, like the one I disliked the most.
Yeah.
That and like because the word friends was written in huge block letters in the front, it was all black with like a few like dots every here and there, and I'm just like
Yeah.
I couldn't place those either.
Sure.
That was frustrating to me. I feel like there was one more we did.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Maybe we didn't do another one. I'm not sure. All right. Anyways, that was the puzzle era.
Mm-hmm.
We had. Okay, I don't know.
Oh, we last summer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last summer. We would go to different JP Licks. JP Licks out here in Boston is an ice cream, like a local ice cream brand. We would go to different JP Licks around the city, and then we would just explore around that area, which was really cool because it was really hot during the summer. Who doesn't love ice cream? And then it gave us a chance to kind of explore different areas of Boston during the night when you want to be outside and walking because it's just so amazing outside.
Yeah. So like. We would literally just explore the area. Like
Yep.
the whole point is just get some ice cream and just walk around and see things
Yeah.
and like look around and like be around people in general.
Yep.
And so we often drove into Boston for that. That was nice. I like that.
Yeah.
We also had the exploration phase where we drove around to city centers
Yeah.
in the area. So we went to the North Shore. We were living in Newton at the time, and like every weekend on Saturday or Sunday, we would just drive up to a few town centers on the North Shore, and we would just hang out in the town center. We'd either get like a snack or some ice cream, or just park and walk around the area and just like explore and have fun and just, I don't know, see what was out there, like what we liked, what we didn't like, and which ones, like compared them against each other and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. I think we still are in kind of the exploration. We're like in the exploration era number 2,
Yeah.
the second one.
I think we're almost in the exploration, but more like now that we live here, a little bit more locally. Like we know the spots that we haven't seen yet, and just kind of navigating those. But
I agree, but like we're going even further north.
that's true. That's true.
Like we're driving along the coast, like through Marblehead, not
Yeah.
Marblehead, but Gloucester.
Yeah.
What's the city below
That
Gloucester?
makes sense though, because it's less of a drive for us to get back home afterwards. Whereas
true.
had we to go back to Newton, it would be like an hour drive.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
exploration era 2.
So for
What-
example, yesterday we went to Singing Beach was that Gloucester?
Beverly?
No, it
don't
was
know.
north of Beverly.
No, it wasn't Gloucester. It was the city below Gloucester,
Okay.
which is, I don't remember what it is.
I don't remember either. But we did that, and it was great. It was this little tiny private beach, and then we went up to Gloucester from there and so we rewatched the movie. What's the name of it?
Storm.
Perfect Storm last night, when that was filmed in Gloucester, which looks like it should be pronounced Gloucester, but apparently it's Gloucester or Gloucester.
That's not bad, but that's a little too much.
I know. I overdid it. I did it like the actress in the Perfect Storm movie. Oh my gosh, we were cracking up in the Perfect Storm. Diane Lane's character, she does such a terrible job at the Boston accent, like way overdone.
Yeah, she just tries too hard.
Yeah.
She could have just relaxed, you know what I mean? Completely. Used her normal voice instead of being this weird high-pitched like voice.
Yeah.
And then like, I feel like the main 2 actors, Mark Wahlberg and Clooney, didn't even try to do a Boston accent. Well, first of all, Mark Wahlberg removed his Boston accent. 'Cause
No,
I
he
feel like-
didn't. He had it in there.
Did he?
He did.
Okay.
George Clooney did. He was like, I'm not doing a Boston accent. He's
Yeah.
like, everyone's just going to hear it and just tune out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think was a smart move on his, because, yeah, listening to Diane Lane, we were like, ooh.
It was just too much.
Yeah.
She just tried too hard.
Yeah.
You just have to relax, you know what I mean? Every now and then it'll come out, but like you don't have to like go all in.
Yeah.
Just be some townie. But then
The first time I ever heard his Boston accent, because when we first started dating, I was like, oh, he doesn't really have a Boston accent. He was yelling at the car in front of us. He was like, put on your effing blinker. And I was like, blinker? What's a blinker? I was like, okay, so he has a little bit of one.
I don't really have one though.
Just when you're mad.
I mean, sometimes when I yell some stuff, it's just more convenient. But the only thing, like, it comes out sometimes, but only some words. Blinker, obviously, it just sounds weird when you say blinker instead of blinker. You can just say blinker. Fine. And then beer. like just I don't know, like it came out when I was at my brother's wedding, where like I said, here, can you pass me the beer menu? And they're like, what menu? I'm like, the beer menu. Beer. I'm like, yes, beer. That's what he said. Beer. That's fine.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about living on the North Shore is we get so many Boston accents, like the really thick ones, and it just makes me smile every time. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's disappearing slowly.
Yeah.
Where the North Shore and the South Shore. I think the more so the South Shore still has its accent, like further south you go. But like the North Shore, I feel like it's kind of disappearing. And then I grew up west of the city, so I didn't even grow up with the Boston accent besides knowing about it. And so I didn't actually have it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like I can pretend to have it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I can hear it when it's bad. Like Diane Lane, like, oh, what are you doing? Relax.
What else? What other areas have we gone through?
If you want to hear a good Boston accent, like a good one, like it's thick and it's good, watch The Departed and listen to Mark Wahlberg's character in The Departed.
Yeah.
It's like, it's thick, it's good. Don't relax, you know what I mean? It comes off natural and it's fine.
Yeah.
But he's
I
from
was gonna say
Boston.
he's from here, so
Yeah, so
yeah. What else?
I don't know. In terms of eras?
Yeah.
End of an era, beginning of an era. I don't know. I feel like we're in the bread baking era right now.
Yes. Bread and booch.
Kombucha, yep, kombucha brewing era. And I'm also in the almond milk and coconut milk era.
Yes.
We're in the era of making things at home.
Yeah. Which Spain kicked that off for us because we realized just how gross American food is. And we're like, what can we make at home that we don't have to buy anymore?
I feel like it was Spain, and it was when we went to the farm and we got the bacon there.
Yeah.
That one angered me the most because I don't know how to emphasize this enough. When you eat real bacon from a farm, from like a pig, where like they butchered it, they seasoned it or whatever, and then they put it into the freezer for you to buy, and then you get it and you eat it. It's freaking delicious. Like it's delicious.
It
actually
melts in your mouth.
it just tastes like real bacon. It tastes like real food. You know what I mean? And then you eat the pack of that, which is like $20 first of all. So it's like $20 a pound almost for bacon. And then you go to the store and you buy store-bought bacon, and it just tastes like chemicals or like preservatives or like something else in there, and it just angers me so much.
Well, that's one thing I noticed too. Ever since he started making coconut milk at home, or even almond milk too, if I taste store-bought coconut milk or almond milk, which used to taste totally fine to me, now tastes gross. It actually tastes like chemicals. So it's crazy how your taste buds change once you've actually had the real thing. Like you crave the realness, you don't crave the fake stuff.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to describe it besides like you don't know what you're missing until you actually have the real stuff, and then you go back to the fake stuff and your mind is blown because you didn't realize you've been missing out on the real stuff for so long.
Yeah.
You're eating the fake stuff and you thought it was real for so long, you know what I mean? And then you had the real thing and your mind shift, your perspective just completely changes on what's real and what's fake.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. There's like a good example that's just not coming to my mind right now.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, so at the moment I'm baking gluten-free bread, which is so hard to bake. Oh my gosh, I must have tried 20 different iterations by now. I have different recipes that I'm trying, and it's not the same. Like gluten is what just holds everything together and binds it together, and without it, man, it is rough. And then also too, you can't just do one flour like you do with any other bread. You have to, like, you can't just put wheat flour in, right? You have to do a blend. And so you have to find the right blend and the right consistency. And then there are weird things that have to take the place of the gluten, like psyllium husk or xanthan gum. So I'm kind of in the middle of like, I'll get a great flavor and then the texture sucks, or vice versa, where it's like I finally get the texture right and then there's something weird about the flavor. And so We'll see how this one goes. This is a blend between 2 different recipes, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but here's hoping.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great because like you blended the recipe that had the best flavor, right?
Yep.
And you blended the recipe with the recipe that had like the best texture.
Yep.
And so hopefully I'll have the best of both worlds.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, so that'll be good. But like, I don't know. Eating real food really kind of like, I'm not gonna say broke me. It's not really the right word for it. But eating real food, what is it, just a long...
Yeah, you had an eyelash or eyebrow that was like...
Super long, whatever. Yeah. Eating real stuff just like kind of freaked me out because I just didn't realize how fake everything we were eating beforehand.
Yeah.
And so it's like we started working slowly, like one thing by one thing, to figure out what we could make from home or what we could start to eat, buy real a little bit more so, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I think that bread is a big one. Like if we can just buy like flours and make our own bread, that way we can actually just eat bread and be fine. Like a lot of bread that you get from the store, if you eat it a lot, it's just going to be with a lot of I don't know, preservatives and like other things in order to make it like shelf stable. But like if something is shelf stable, it's generally not good for you, typically speaking.
Yeah. Preservatives just can wreak havoc on your gut and other things like that.
Yeah, and I would say like mass-produced preservatives is the best word for it too.
Sure.
Something that like a big corporation or like Wonder Bread will do to their bread in order to make it so that the bread you can put it on your shelf and it will just stay there. You know what I mean? Like real bread, what happens with it is that it goes bad. Well, first of all, it dries up really quickly, right? And then once after it dries up or you leave it out for a little bit, it starts to get moldy. And that's real food. Any sort of real food will go bad after a couple days because other things want to eat it. You know what I mean? Other things will start to eat it unless you eat it first. Versus things like Wonder Bread, you can just leave out and it stays soft and it stays moist and nothing else wants to eat it because it's just not real food. Yeah. We've talked about this also. And so like we
see episode 1, I think it was episode 1 that we talked about
1?
that. Yeah, so go check it out because we talk about the difference between like real food and fake food.
Yeah. And so we started doing that real food also. What we started to do is we started to do almond milk and coconut milk, where we just buy almonds from the store, unroasted, unsalted, or coconut. And then I think we did get shredded a coconut, but I really want to try with like a real like full coconut.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
Get a little machete, crack it open.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be there for that.
And then we're doing kombucha, which is really just a money-saving thing because like kombucha at the store is good, but it's like $10 a bottle. Yeah. And so like we're trying to make kombucha at home so that we save it. And I think that like if we were to make the equivalent bottle of kombucha at home, it's about $1 in terms of all the basic ingredients. Yeah. It just takes about 2 weeks to brew, so that's the only thing.
So tell people what kombucha is, because some people may not know. Right.
So we're segueing into other thing. Kombucha is one of those foods that you always hear about that everyone freaks out about because it's fermented. And kombucha specifically is fermented tea. So you take a black tea or a green tea or something like that, you brew it, and then you mix it with some sugar, and you mix it with the fermenting agents. Fermenting agents. And then you leave it for about 2 weeks. I think we leave ours for about 2 weeks. And you come back to it, and the fermenting agents essentially eat up all the sugar, multiply on their own, and then create a lot of carbon dioxide, and you're left with kombucha, which is essentially fermented tea again. And it's delicious. I don't know how to describe it.
It has kind of a bubbly, tangy flavor to it, but then you get a sweetness too. So you can have different flavors like hibiscus or raspberry or lemon, and there are different blends you can do. My favorite one is guava flavored. It's got guava juice in it. So it's a great substitute if you love soda and you're looking for something a little bit healthier because it gives you that carbonation, but it's sweet, it's low sugar, and it has some health benefits as far as like the probiotics that are in it. So...
But yeah, the basic idea behind kombucha is that you have a bunch of fruit, sugar, and tea, and you just ferment it, and you're left with kombucha at the end of the day. Fermentation is the process of using a mix of bacteria and yeasts and leaving it so that the bacteria and yeast will transform whatever you're fermenting into something new that stores a little bit better. So fermenting tea, the way we do, will turn into kombucha. If you ferment like hops or stuff like that, you'll end up with beer. If you ferment cucumbers, you'll end up with pickles.
Yeah.
What else?
You had a pickle era.
I did have a pickle era.
He had a pickle juice era. I would literally come into the kitchen and he's just chugging pickle juice. And it was so weird because I remember when we first started dating, like,
Oh, I hated pickle juice.
he hated pickles in general.
Pickles, yeah.
And out of nowhere, it was the electrolytes, I think, that he was craving, but it was so funny. And then he burned out on it and just no more pickles.
I don't know why. Like, there was a point where I started eating those pickles. They were Grillo's pickles. They're fucking delicious. I don't eat them as much anymore because I'm not craving them as much, but I'm not sure why.
And then you went through your kimchi era.
Kimchi era also. So kimchi is also fermented cabbage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fermentation is great. Vinegar is double fermented beer, essentially.
Yeah.
So like vinegar is like, I forget what it is, potatoes or...
Was it? Or was it wine that's double fermented?
Vodka is fermented potatoes. Wine is fermented grapes. And
Yep.
then, yeah.
But vinegar wasn't from wine instead of beer?
I thought it was beer, but maybe it is wine. I'm not sure. So what you do first is, I forget exactly how you make vinegar, but like at first you ferment the, I think it's some fruit. You ferment it once, and then you remove all of the like the sediments and all that, and I think then you ferment it again, which essentially is like gets rid of all the alcohol, and you're left with vinegar, which is a very sour, tangy, delicious cooking sauce, essentially.
Yeah. Yogurt's my biggest fermentation thing. So I like
Fermented dairy.
yeah, so or not even dairy. I use coconut milk because I can't tolerate dairy very well. So I love coconut cult yogurt. It's amazing. They carry it at Whole Foods. You can order it online. It's got no weird ingredients in it. It's literally like coconut cream, coconut milk fermented with some great probiotics, and then maybe like cacao powder or the vanilla one. I don't even think they have any additives in that, which is fantastic, but it's so yummy. It's like a dessert. It's like eating like a mousse. It's just so rich. And then the other one, this one is Cocoyo by GT. This is another one where it's just got a refreshing flavor to it, and I enjoy snacking on it. And since it's a high-fat food, you can have a little bit of it, and a little goes a long way, and you get full ferment, which is nice.
So in other words, there's just a lot of fermentation stuff that we eat.
Yeah.
Fermented foods in general.
Yep.
Which we can try to do, honestly, a lot of other stuff, because honestly, I love fermented foods.
Yeah. Cultured butter, that was another one that we had tried. We went to a local farm and we got a cultured butter that was salted, I think, too. And so cultured meaning that they had fermented it a little bit, and it's just so yummy.
Yeah, so like fermentation obviously requires yeast and bacteria. Sometimes it just requires bacteria, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure yogurt's just made with bacteria. And it's good bacteria, meaning that like it's relatively healthy for you. In that sense, and the reason why it's healthy for you is because you have bacteria in your gut that helps you digest foods. And so like typically we would describe those good bacteria as probiotic, because majority of the time when someone says bacteria, it's associated with a negative bacteria, something that'll get you sick, like bacterial infections or anything along that stream. But there's good bacteria, and we call that probiotics. And so like when you eat probiotics, you're essentially introducing it into your gut, and once it's in your gut, it'll help you digest the food that you eat, and it'll help you with bowel movements.
Healthy poops.
Healthy poops, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not having healthy poops, if you dread going to the toilet every day, maybe check out some sort of probiotics to help you with that.
Yeah, I would say start slow though. If you're going to introduce fermented foods and you've never really had fermented foods before, like start small, start with like literally a bite or two, because if you go crazy all at once, you will get super gassy and it's not going to be pleasant.
Right, because you already have essentially a biome in your gut And if you start introducing new elements to that biome, it's going to completely destroy your old biome, which we probably want to, if you're trying to improve your like gut biome, you probably do want to destroy your old one. You just want to make it gradual.
Yeah.
And don't just shock the system.
Yeah, 100%.
Because then you'll hate it and you'll never want to do it again.
Yeah. Talk about the SCOBY.
SCOBY, what does SCOBY stand for?
Oh, I forget.
SCOBY, I know the B and the Y at the end stand for bacteria and yeast, but I'm gonna Google SCOBY.
So I'll have to post this, but I have a video of him because at the top, so you have the kombucha, and at the top is where the SCOBY lives, that bacteria. And in order to finish making the kombucha, you have to take out the SCOBY, and you were doing it. It was just so gross. It's like when it's fermenting, it looks like an umbilical cord or like a mad scientist jar of just like organs living in there. And so he pulls it out. It's just slimy, like ugh.
So SCOBY is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. A symbiotic culture. So that means that the bacteria and yeast don't overpower each other and don't take over each other, and they're in a relatively symbiotic relationship. So they don't they don't interact with each other, but they both thrive in the environment that you're going to ferment with. And so when I make kombucha, the basic process is you want to brew some tea, and then while it's hot, you stir in a bunch of sugar, and then you cool it off by adding a whole bunch of water and putting the SCOBY inside of it, which is usually like kind of like a hockey puck size thing. Like it's thin, so it's about like a 1/4 inch or something like that, about a little bit larger than a hockey puck. And then you put that into it, and then it brews. And generally speaking, once it's in there, what it'll do is the bacteria will create a second layer on top of the original SCOBY, and then the yeast will grow downwards off the SCOBY into the brew itself. And so the yeast will kind of look like this weird, like,
it's creepy looking.
Yeah, it's creepy looking.
Really
it's creepy looking. So it's like if people don't know what kombucha is or don't know how to brew it, and like they walk in on you, like, and they see like it's sitting on your shelf, it's gonna look like, I don't know, like preserved organs or something.
Yeah,
it's gross.
If we ever invite people over to our house, it's something where we're gonna have to explain that up front, because if people see that, they're gonna be like, "What is that?"
Exactly. And then like once you're like towards the end of the brew of your kombucha, it starts to smell really strongly too.
Yeah.
Like it starts to smell like kombucha, which is great. But then like if somebody walks by that little area where it is and smells it, they're gonna be like, "What the?" I don't know. It's gross because it's essentially just this thick, puck-sized, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast.
It's gross. It's really gross. Like I said, I promise I will post the video of him handling the SCOBY, because it's worth a watch if you're curious about it.
And it's like super like jello-like to the touch and really slimy, and then like if the yeast get on your fingers, it kind of like wraps around your fingers and it's hard to get off. And then like it's kind of firm but not firm, so it kind of like sags when you pull it out. And then like depending on like how thick the bacterial layer is on top, that also becomes like really thin and filament-like. And then when you
Well, speaking of, I have to work with yeast for making the bread. And so that was a huge curveball for me, because I've never had to activate yeast before. I didn't even know what that meant. And so you basically put sugar in the water to feed the bacteria, and then you watch it start to like bubble over, but getting the ratios of like the temperature of the water and the right amount of sugar and all that was a learning curve. But like once it starts to feed, this thing just like explodes. Which is wild to think of our food being alive like that. Which I don't like to go down that road of thought.
Yeah, bread is also fermented, FYI.
Yeah.
You get flour and sugar, and then you leave it, and it ferments literally, which creates all the air bubbles inside the bread, and then you bake it, which ferments it a little bit longer, but also kills everything inside there, and you're left with bread.
One of my favorites though is sourdough bread, which is like super fermented bread that you feed the flour for a little bit and then you finally make it, which I want to try that eventually for sure.
Yeah, the one difference between bread and all the other fermented stuff is that the other fermented stuff has live cultures in it, versus bread, everything is dead because you bake it.
Yep.
So like pickles will have live cultures in it, kombucha has live cultures in it, yogurt has live cultures in it. I don't think beer does because alcohol kills bacteria and all that, or any sort of alcohol has any live cultures in it. Vinegar doesn't because like I'm pretty sure you strain it at the end in order to get like that clear liquid. What else? What other fermentation stuff? Kimchi has live cultures. So yeah, sometimes you're eating live cultures, other times you're not. So it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever want to brew kombucha, it is a very passive process because you have to wait for it to brew like for a couple weeks. But it is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Gross a little bit, but the end product is delicious. So
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah, he's on his second attempt and it tastes really good so far. So.
Third attempt. Well, fourth attempt because the
Oh,
third
that's true.
Yeah. First attempt was weird. It was not that great. Second attempt was good. Third attempt grew a bunch of mold on the top,
Yeesh.
which is gross. It's like this weird white fuzz, weird white dry fuzz on top. And I'm like, oh. And then this is the fourth attempt that we just brewed, which is delicious. We like that one. And so I'm thinking later today I'll probably start a new brew.
Nice.
Yeah. I filtered so much water.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, what else do you want to talk about in terms of fermentation?
Any stream of thoughts?
Oh, fermentation, I wanted to say, is still good for you because it's mostly probiotics. Definitely give it a try. Definitely eat some probiotics in general. It'll be good for your gut. And I think it's becoming more and more of a trend to do it. I think that a lot of different like health experts nowadays are talking about Aspergillosis, which is a yeast and a probiotic that you can get at the store, and all these other things that you can eat in order to improve your gut.
Yeah. Dr. Mark Ruscio is a really great resource for that, actually, if you want to look him up.
Yep. All right. Last words on fermentation. Oh, my nose is itchy. I don't know why. Yeah, that was a bad one. Oh. All right. Anyways.
Breathe through it.
I'm channeling my yoga. We did yoga this morning.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of like, kind of like active breathing there.
Yeah. The face you make though.
Why is it so itchy? I don't know. Stream of thought. I don't know. Taxes. We're supposed to get a bunch of money on that back, so that'll be nice. But still, I'm just worried about it because we're going to have a talk with your guy in like 2 hours or so, and that'll be good.
Yeah.
Not 2 hours, less than 2 hours, an hour.
It's our first time filing together as husband and wife, so it'll be an interesting thing. And then me being self-employed too, I have to pay quarterly taxes, and it's like a different thing between the two of us. So I'm very curious what he recommends and how much we'll get back and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And so like we're definitely gonna get money back, but I'm wondering how much we're gonna get back. And then like now that we're filing together, I'm wondering what all the tax programs and incentives are that we can take advantage of.
Sure.
It's just that's what's like stuck in the back of my head right now.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then work a little bit. Looking forward to hanging out with my friends next weekend. That'll be fun. I feel like they're so few and far between, which makes them definitely want to make it worthwhile and have fun with them because they're so few and far between. But I also feel like they should be a little bit more often, but I don't know if that's feasible.
I think it's feasible. It's just a matter of someone initiating it.
Yeah. Which is always going to be me or Bill, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
right. We have different habits that like we're trying to work on. I'm just trying to stop saying like and little things like that. We want to improve on the podcast. YouTube. This is YouTube. Podcast. YouTube Live?
I mean, you can do a podcast live.
That's true.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, a lot of podcasts are just like almost like hour-long radio shows that you can listen to whenever.
Yeah.
But you can also do like a live show and turn it into a podcast as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
True that.
Exactly. Stream of thought besides that. I don't know. It's been really nice outside, so I've been really enjoying it. I'm kind of sad that we didn't go snowboarding enough like more. But I also excited for the warmer weather and just being able to wear a t-shirt outside.
Yeah.
Get some sun, get some tan on, finally get some vitamin D.
Yeah.
And not feel like I'm just stuck indoors being like a zombie the entire time.
Yeah, 100%. That's where my mind is at.
Yeah.
It's just like the weather. We had a few days of sun this week, and oh my gosh, the difference it makes in my mood. I am a totally different person when it's sunny out compared to when it's meh out. And it's so motivating, and just being outside just feels so glorious, and getting some vitamin D, it just impacts everything.
I'm wondering recently if I've just been vitamin D deficient.
It's possible.
Like if I've been kind of like in a very meh mood because I just haven't had enough.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Vitamin D has like a direct impact on hormones and mood.
Yeah, I think that might be it. I should get one after this. Take one after this. I want to brew some kombucha. I think that I'll use the same exact process. I don't think there's anything else that I'd want to change right now. Oh, what I want to do this time around is I want to split the SCOBY in two so I can do 2 simultaneous brews. So we'll start one today, and then I'll do the SCOBY, half the SCOBY in this one, and then I'll have another SCOBY in next week, and I'll have 2 group brews going at the same time.
Nice.
And then hopefully like I can keep track of those and have enough brews going so that everything will be fine. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I just have to cut the SCOBY in half.
Ew. I'll try to get a video of that.
It's fleshy. It's just gross. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the bread. I already smell it. It smells really good. And then I'm also thinking about dinner, and I don't know what we want to do for dinner.
We'll have to figure that one out. Yeah.
But then, yeah, also, I'm a little worried about the podcast. I'm not sure why my nose is always itchy. And then I'm not worried about it. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm wondering, like, what we're going to do. And then, I don't know. Thinking about a new setup. I don't mind the setup. That means that we're going to always be looking over there in order to see, like, because, like, from here we can read the comments, right? Like, you guys can't see this, but I have my computer set up over there, and then I have a wire going to the TV. And so I have 2 monitors. My first monitor has like all the streaming stuff on it, and then my second monitor has like the YouTube live stuff going on, so we can see like the chats in there if we need to like talk to them.
Yeah. I honestly haven't even looked at it once, so.
Yeah, and so like the live feed of us is relatively small, so it's not distracting. But then the chat is a little bit larger. That's good.
Yeah.
So like I think that once people start chatting in there, we'll be able to see it
Yeah.
and interact with it. I think this actually works out pretty well.
That'll be good. Also, too, if you guys catch anything as far as production value or things that we can improve on, just let us know.
Honestly, maybe like if we want to get even more comfy, have the camera facing this way still, but like move it all the way here so we can just like we can sit here.
We tried that though. It doesn't look good.
Well, we did it so when the camera faces this way instead of this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Still doesn't look good.
Anyways, we should check it after this. Any last thoughts?
I didn't do my stream of consciousness.
Oh yeah, what's your stream of consciousness?
Well, I need to go get the bread.
Get the bread first.
Let's see.
So is it done? Now you have to let it sit?
Yes, I think. I don't know where I put my other... Where did I put the other thing?
It's over here.
Oh. Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like bread.
Nice.
That actually smells really good.
How long does it have to sit?
At least an hour or 2.
Okay.
I hope it baked enough because I messed with the proportions and like the temp, but I think that's enough. We'll find out.
Yeah. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
All right, your stream with that.
So weather. I think for me, I love being by the ocean, by the water, and moving from LA, that was one of the favorite things that I used to do out there was going to the ocean and just going for really long walks by myself and just kind of having me time and thinking. And I got into a habit of I would go to Pete's Coffee and then I'd walk along the shore, and it brought me so much joy. and realizing that we have an ocean not even like 30 minutes away from us, and I never intentionally go. And realizing the difference that when we go, like you brought it up yesterday, we were like, hey, we should go to the beach. And it revived me. And so I think I just need to be more intentional about bringing that in my life. And then
we should at this point kind of like plan every weekend to maybe go for a walk on the beach.
I would love that. I'd really love that.
At least a little bit, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe we can do it after coffee on Sundays or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. Yeah, outside of that, really looking forward to the change in season. It's starting to warm up here, which is great. And I've been working on some projects recently that I'm really close to finishing, and I'm excited to tell you guys about it. And what else? We haven't announced yet that we're doing this show yet, and so I think we're going to do that tonight. So I'm excited to see what kind of response we get and how that goes and what it evolves into now that we're actually going to have some accountability.
Yeah.
Because right now we're flying by the seat of our pants. We'll be like, oh, we're going to film on this day, and then we'll kind of like do whatever. And now we're going to have some like consistency with it.
Right. So once we announce, we kind of had to stick to a schedule a little more.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. And so like we'll have to stick to at least a schedule of like maybe like Sunday afternoon shows or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're just being better about announcing it even if we do it day of, like earlier in the day, and then making sure we follow through at night or something like that.
I do agree with that. We should definitely announce. But I do also think that at least once a week we should try to find like a time where we can do consistent time static that we can stick to.
Yeah, that'd be good.
On a Sunday, I feel like that's pretty doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Other than that, nothing too much on my mind. I think it's just we're in a bit of a transition season, a bit of a holding pattern where there's a bunch of like new things on the horizon, but we're not quite there yet. And I'm excited to see where it leads. And that's kind of where my mind's been. And just thinking about ways that, again, kind of going back to the LA and missing it, what things from there made me really love LA, and what do I have here that I can create that, you know, helps me really fall in love with living here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Daylight savings really helped with that though.
Yeah.
Because like daylight savings is like an automatic extra 1 hour of sunlight in the afternoon.
Yeah.
At night. So it's nice.
That was the thing. When I moved to Massachusetts, I knew it was going to be cold. I was expecting blizzards like every single week. That was something that I was mentally, okay, this is probably going to happen during the wintertime. It's going to be really cold. I'm going to get hypothermia and pneumonia. It's just part of living in Massachusetts. That was my mentality, honestly. And what I was not prepared for was how dark it gets and so early during the day. Because even during the wintertime in LA, I think it would start to get dark maybe 5:30, 5. But out here, it can get as early as 3:30 that it starts to get dark.
Yep. And then it's completely dark by like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's like nighttime.
Yeah.
Almost.
So I would always choke after dinner. It's like 6:30 p.m. and, oh, it's midnight. Yeah. Because that's what it feels like.
But then it's kind of the opposite during the summers.
Yeah.
Like you keep having sunlight until like 8:30.
That's true.
And then it starts getting dark at 8:30, but you still have like sunlight.
Yeah. But I wasn't mentally prepared for that out here, so that's something that I have to adjust for.
Yeah.
I should get one of those sad lights. Was it seasonal affective disorder lights that you're supposed to turn on in the mornings to help prevent moodiness? I don't know if they work. I've heard good things.
I think it's just vitamin D deficiency. Like, I think during the winters, like, just start taking vitamin D supplements and you'll just feel better.
Yeah, that's true, because I actually don't take vitamin D, and I should, so.
Yeah, like, during the summer, you're fine because you get plenty of sun.
Yeah.
But, like, during the winter, just start taking vitamin D.
Yeah.
Like, I think daylight savings is probably, like, a decent spot to, like, start and stop with vitamin D.
Yeah.
So maybe because daylight savings was last weekend, maybe we shouldn't take any vitamin D. I'll take it. We'll see. Probably feel better about it.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, one last thing. I had talked about, I forget which episode it was, but wanting to switch to a natural deodorant, and I actually have a hit with Primally Pure, Primally Pure. They actually have a deodorant where I have not gotten a fungal infection, and it actually seems to be working pretty well. I've worn an antiperspirant my entire life, like starting in high school. And so
Right.
I've been wanting to cut out the aluminum that I'm shoving into my armpit day in, day out. And so I tried a natural deodorant once, and it just went so bad. I had a fungal infection in my arms. It was not pleasant. And so I recently decided to try again now that it's more popular. People formulate things differently. And I've noticed actually it took an adjustment period where I was kind of funky smelling. I had to reapply it many times throughout the day. I was wearing sweatshirts with clients. That way there wasn't any chance I was like smelly around them. But after a few weeks, I actually started sweating less.
Yeah.
Like significantly less than when I was wearing the antiperspirant, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, I actually
So there's
had
like a
hit there.
transition period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just for clarity for anyone thinking is confused, is that there's a difference between something that is a deodorant and something that is an antiperspirant.
Yeah.
I think if you just think about it for a second, it becomes obvious. But oftentimes you just go to a store, you find a brand that you like, and you just pick the one that you have. And so deodorant obviously just masks any smell that you might have. Antiperspirant specifically is there to prevent you from sweating as much as possible. So that's where the aluminum comes in, right? So the
Yeah.
aluminum you put into your armpits is supposed to help prevent you from sweating in the first place.
Yep.
So we don't want to introduce aluminum into our armpits. We want to keep it out of there.
Yeah.
And so we want to get rid of the antiperspirant part of things and just keep the deodorant part of things. And what will happen is that because your body has been so used to the antiperspirant and the aluminum there, it's going to start sweating like crazy.
Yeah.
Because now the aluminum is gone, you're not adding more of it to your armpit. So now your armpits are going to be sweaty, but then your body adjusts
Yeah.
during this period of time, like 2-3 weeks probably or so. Was it like 2-3 weeks for you?
I think it was about 3 weeks
3
for
weeks.
me that it took to finally adjust.
Yeah. And so like after that adjustment period, your body understands it's not going to have any more aluminum in your armpits, and it's just not going to sweat nearly as much,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a win. Yeah.
Good. I mean, I switched over to deodorant also, and I feel like I'm still in the transition period.
I feel like you need to try a different brand though. He's doing a different one than what I did, and I think it might be a brand issue.
I don't think so. I think it's just my body still needs to get used to the fact that there's no aluminum in there.
That's true. We'll give it a couple more weeks, and then
Yeah.
if that's the case, then we'll swap it out.
Agreed. Give it a couple more weeks, and then we'll know for a fact. Yeah, nope, just a new brand.
Yep.
Different formulation of some sort.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, all right. We can end on that note, talk about armpit sweat. Thanks for tuning in Tips for Your Boyfriend. This is
Yeah.
episode 12. Like the video, subscribe to us. Smash the like button. Subscribe, hit the little bell icon, get notifications, follow us on @TheCalliston on Twitter, and Tips from Your Boyfriend on Instagram, and
TikTok.
TikTok.
If it's still loud.
And then what was your Instagram?
@Bethany Calliston if you want to follow me specifically.
Yep. And then we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
That was our first time outroing.
Go team.
Go team. All right. See you guys.
Bye.